addressing his supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida early Wednesday morning.
We're going to help our country here. We have a country that needs help.
Wednesday afternoon, Vice President Kamala Harris officially conceding.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Addressing her supporters at her alma mater, Howard University. A day earlier, crowds gathered for her watch party, hoping for a much different outcome.
This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice.
Many Democratic leaders seeing the election results as a test of their policies and ideas.
We've got to do some soul searching. We're getting a message from a lot of people that we're not hearing them. And I hope we take the time to do the soul searching we have to do.
While many Republicans viewing election night as a major party win.
The American people overwhelmingly chose to turn the page on the failed policies of this administration on the economy, on the border, and on foreign policy.
Mike Yoshida reporting that President Joe Biden spoke with President-elect Donald Trump today and congratulated him. He also invited Trump to meet with him at the White House. Well, Republican Alabama politicians are excited for the next steps under Donald Trump after his big win last night. Now, Trump won Alabama's 9 electoral votes over Kamala Harris. Multiple state leaders have spoken publicly about their pride in Trump's win. Gary Palmer, U.S. Representative for Alabama's 6th congressional district, says he's pleased with the outcome.
Kamala Harris, particularly as the head of the party, so to speak, as the presidential nominee, represented a party that had gone to some extremes, and that's just not where we are. And I think that's, in the final analysis, I think that may be another major factor in why this election went the way it did, and particularly with him winning the popular vote.
Now, President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration will take place January 20th of 2025. Well, lots of voters in West Alabama counties went to the polls on Election Day. Now, voter turnout was very high for these Alabama counties. More than 55% of Tuscaloosa County voters turned out. Fayette County had a higher voter turnout of more than 65%. And Pickens County turnout hit almost 64%. 61% of registered voters in Bibb County voted, and more than 59% of Hale County voters went to the polls. Well, residents of Tuscaloosa County voted on a circuit clerk yesterday. Republican candidate and incumbent Magaria Bobo won 61% of the vote with almost 51,000 votes. Now, Democratic candidate Sonia McKinstry got 39% of the votes with more than 32,000 votes. Now, we spoke with both candidates about their race.
Well, you can always make improvements like customer service and, just the way the public is treated when they come into my office, and I will just strive to make sure that's always top notch.
We had a clean race that I'm proud of. We had a lot of support. I'm disappointed that a lot of people didn't come out and vote. We only had half the numbers that came out and vote. I think if everybody had came out and vote, the numbers and the results will probably have been much different.
Now, Bobo was first elected to circuit clerk back in 2006. Well, a judge has refused to stop the nation's third scheduled execution by nitrogen gas that is set to take place in Alabama later this month. Carrie L. Grayson is scheduled to be executed on November 21st. The judge said Grayson failed to prove this method is unconstitutionally cruel. Now, Grayson's attorney said they plan to appeal. Kenneth Smith was put to death by nitrogen gas back in January, and Alan Miller was put to death by the same method last month. And Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit is investigating a shooting that left 2 businesses and a vehicle riddled with bullets. It happened this afternoon on Highway 69 South. Now, Tuscaloosa police responded to the 5500 block of 69 South, where a Texaco service station and the DeVita Dialysis Center have been shot into. No one was injured from the shooting. Of course, this investigation continues. Well, the Alabama Power Foundation donated over $100,000 to Stillman College tonight. WVUA 23's Lyric Franklin joins us live from our newsroom. And Lyric, why did Stillman receive this donation?
Jabari, Stillman College has continuously made significant contributions to the community of West Alabama, and Alabama Power felt that it was time to return the favor. Music, food, and community, the perfect way to celebrate Stillman's 148th founding. Alabama Power could not have picked a better time to host a community giving reception for Stillman College. This is an opportunity for the community to come out and celebrate Stillman College and allow Stillman to highlight their theme this week, educating minds and empowering communities.
I think that when we look around tonight and see the attendance at this event, we can really see how the community gets behind Stillman College and how they are here to support them, not only in times of celebration, but also when it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Alabama Power presented Stillman College with $125,000, allowing the college to continue to pour into the West Alabama community and the students within.
We have everyone here who has supported Stillman, I would say, for at least the last year since I've been here. And I think it's also a demonstration of the fact that not only does the community support Stillman, but Stillman supports the community, as well as we have a lot of people who are behind us, particularly our friends at Alabama Power.
Alabama Power recognizes that it takes more than just educational institutions to develop the workforce for the future.
It takes partnering with business and industry and working together to identify what the needs and the barriers are for workforce development in the future. And I think that Alabama Power and Stillman are the perfect partners in doing this.
It's a very exciting night. It's a night where it is, for me, certainly a demonstration of the sentiment that is felt for Stillman College.
In light of the community giving event, tonight launches Stillman's 30 Days of Giving. It starts today and ends on Giving Tuesday. If you are interested in supporting Stillman College, you can visit their website and invest in the young minds of the next generation. Jabari.
Lyric, thank you. Well, the Tuscaloosa VA Medical Center hosted a special parade today to honor those who have served and are currently serving. The parade featured school bands, dancers, and cars decorated in red, white, and blue. The community was invited to attend the parade, and people lined the sidewalks to celebrate and honor all that veterans have done. Now, the turnout and the parade were special for some veterans, serving as a sign that people still care.
When I came back during the time of the Vietnam era, a lot of people didn't care about the veterans. You know, they didn't respect the veterans, you know, not realizing that we were doing our job in protecting the country. And so, you know, something like this means a lot.
Now, Gibbs reminded us freedom isn't free and someone has to protect our country, and says if he had the opportunity to serve again, he would. Well, coming up, the alcohol industry is seeing a decline in sales for booze. We'll take a look at the new trend, and we have some advice on how to budget so you don't overspend this holiday season. Those stories when we come back. And it's back to reality for the alcohol industry. The incredible surge in sales it saw during the COVID-19 pandemic has come to a screeching halt. Inflation-weary customers are now pushing back on expensive booze, and it's hurting bottlers' bottom line. Now, some of the world's biggest alcohol makers have recently reported declines in volumes or sales. All major categories were affected, including tequila, American whiskey, beer, and wine. Instead of buying pricey bottles, customers are choosing lower-priced items like beer and ready-to-drink canned cocktails. And the holidays are right around the corner, and experts predict spending is at an all-time high. Now is the time to start thinking about budgeting. Jen Sullivan looks at the shopping trends and how to avoid the holidays from hurting your finances.
It's the season of giving, but if you're not careful with finances, you could be getting a hefty bill at the end of the holiday season. Experts say shopping as early as now can help you budget.
We have seen a trend over the last couple of years of consumers starting their shopping a little earlier for the winter holidays.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says holiday spending this year is expected to hit an all-time high, with shoppers spending an average of $902 per person, about $641 going towards gifts, and the rest towards food, cards, and decor. There is some good news for shoppers this year.
We do know that in many ways inflation has gotten better than it was last year, particularly when it comes to goods, which is great news for consumers.
A recent survey by NerdWallet found 28% of shoppers who used credit cards to buy gifts last year are still paying off that debt. So, how can you make sure you don't overspend?
The best thing to do is to really make a plan before you start spending. Ideally, we want to use our savings and not debt to fund those purchases.
NerdWallet personal finance expert Kimberly Palmer also recommends these tips. Make a list and figure out exactly how much you want to spend. Start shopping early. Talk to family and friends about expectations and possibly scaling back. And sign up for price drop alerts.
Using some kind of browser add-on like Honey or the Camelizer browser extension just to track those prices can just help make sure that you're getting the best deal possible.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And nice and warm over the southeastern U.S., but cold in the Rockies. We'll talk about where that cold air is heading coming up after the break.
Hear my forecast every day on Tuscaloosa's True Oldies channel, 102.1 FM, WJRD. And got a little rain across parts of West Alabama. Here's a live view. The Algo traffic camera. You're looking at the streets in the University of West Alabama campus in Livingston. And yes, it is rather damp out there in parts of West Alabama. Let's go to our Brian Diddy camera on the University of Alabama campus, looking off towards the west, towards downtown Tuscaloosa. Temperature right now 72 in Tuscaloosa. Currently, we are rain-free. Scattered showers still going to be possible for tonight, though. 80 this afternoon.
afternoon. Hey, we're close to a record for this date back in 2015 of 83. But look at the spread between the record high of 83 and the record low of 24. We can see some warm weather in November. We can see some mighty cold temperatures in November, but not going to be cold any time soon. Let's put on Doppler radar some spotty showers and spots out there, but not a whole lot of rainfall at the moment now. 72 in Tuscaloosa, Demopolis 73, Haleyville there in Winston County. We're reporting 68 in Coleman at 70 degrees and a lot of cloud cover across central and south Alabama. There has been some clearing near the Tuscaloosa and Birmingham areas. In response to that clearing, some patchy fog is beginning to develop out there to get some of the rain down to the south. And here's our forecast tomorrow morning for the kiddos heading to school. 68, the potential for some scattered light showers. Not going to rain overly heavy or everywhere, but by lunchtime we'll be up to 77 and 81 by mid-afternoon. Quite a warm day. Light northeast wind tomorrow. Let's talk tropics. There's Yucatan, Cozumel, and Calique there. That's also the hurricane we're watching here. This is Rafael. And it's now north of the Cuba coastline. It's moved into the Gulf of Mexico. So this is certainly a dangerous hurricane, but fortunately it's going to be spending most of its life in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Winds 105 miles per hour, makes a hard left turn, and just fizzles out across the western Gulf of Mexico. That is incredibly rare. That doesn't usually happen. Once a hurricane gets in the Gulf, it's basically trapped and has to hit somebody. Fortunately, this one's not going to do that at all. Wind shear will rip this thing apart over the weekend and will not have any impact on Alabama's local weather. What we will see is some tropical moisture off of that feature, and that'll help enhance some of the shower coverage tomorrow and really over the next several days, and that'll carry into the weekend. Rain chances coming up just a bit on Saturday and Sunday. Not going to rain all day, but again, have the umbrella nearby for the weekend here, as temperatures will be quite warm, though. Daytime highs in the upper 70s to near 80 this weekend, and the mugginess is going to be around. You will feel that humidity as temperatures remain quite warm. Also overnight lows in the upper 60s, and we've got Veterans Day coming up on Monday. And hey, not bad. I do expect still the chance for maybe a brief shower, but overall temperatures real warm for that. So all the Veterans Day events happening locally, the weather's looking okay for that. It will be warmer than it should be, but Jabari, I think most people would agree that it's better to be warm and comfortable versus you saw that record low in the 20s. Yeah. So it can get cold in November, just not going to happen yet.
All right, Richard, thank you. Yep. Well, Gary Harris is standing by with a look at what's coming up in sports. Gary, good evening.
Hey, Jabari, coming up, Brian Kelly says Alabama football may not have Nick Saban, but the roster looks as talented as the Nick Saban teams did. And Brandon Miller comes up big for the Hornets tonight against the Pistons with a game winner. You'll see it and hear it next in WVUA 23 Sports. Former Bama star Brandon Miller with a game winner tonight for the Hornets against the Pistons. Good stuff. Good evening. I'm Gary Harris. Number 11 Alabama football continued preparations for the trip this weekend to Baton Rouge to play number 14 LSU on Saturday night. Let's check in on practice this morning for the Crimson Tide. We're going to start out with safety Brayson Hubbard, who is starting now in place of the injured Keon Sabb, and he had a great game against Missouri. There's another one of his pals there at safety, Devontae Smith. They'll be tested, that secondary will, by LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. You're going to see 72, the center Parker Brailsford, who transferred in from Washington. He's having a terrific season, as is the All-American Tyler Booker there at offensive guard, getting his reps in. Let's check in on the defense and fifth-year outside linebacker Q Robinson. He was the guest tonight on the Kalen DeBoer radio show, and he's having a fabulous season, as is his running mate, redshirt freshman outside linebacker Quay Rusaw. And we'll take a look right there at freshman corner Xavier Brown. And then we'll see some of the defensive linemen, Jordan Renaud, Hunter Osborne, and hear from secondary coach Maurice Linguist on the reality of the calendar. It's November. He says there's no way as a football team that you reinvent yourself now. You are who you are. You just have to try to be the best version of yourself down the stretch.
What happens is that you also have a story of yourself out there, where really what comes alive in November and December and January football are the details. There's a lot of identity of you're not going to implement a new scheme necessarily this time of the year. You're not going to become a different type of team this time of the year. You're trying to do what you do and do it better.
There's a bunch of things on our defense that stands out. So obviously we got our work cut out for us in terms of just being able to go out there and execute at a high level. I just want to be clear about it. It's never about them. It's about us.
On the other side, LSU head coach Brian Kelly says Alabama may not have Nick Saban on the sidelines anymore, but the Crimson Tide's talent level is, in his opinion, still at an elite level.
And now we take on an outstanding football team, probably as balanced of a football team that we're going to play this year. And when I mean balanced, I don't mean necessarily in terms of offense, defense, in terms of 50-50. I mean talent level across the board. Apparently no weaknesses in my eyes relative to their talent level.
And Alabama in the NFL update now. Panthers head coach Dave Canales is sticking with the guy who piloted the offense in the team's second win of the year. Canales announced at his Wednesday press conference that Bryce Young will start at quarterback against the Giants in Munich this weekend. It'll be Young's third straight start in his return to the lineup. He was benched in favor of Andy Dalton after 2 games, but returned after Dalton injured his thumb in a car accident. Young threw 2 touchdowns in a loss to the Broncos. He threw another touchdown in their 23-22 win over New Orleans, and Canales is opting to stick with him even though Dalton has recovered from his injury. Well, coming off a dominating 110-54 season opening victory on Monday night over UNC Asheville, the second-ranked Alabama men's basketball team will host the Arkansas State Red Wolves on Friday night at 7 o'clock inside Coleman Coliseum. Arkansas State, of course, coached by former Nate Oates, Alabama assistant coach Brian Hodson. They're 1-0 after an 80-75 win over Akron. Now, there won't be any television for this game, but it'll be, of course, available on the Crimson Tide Sports Network on radio and on ESPN+. So, Jabari, basketball, football, everything going on right now. It's that time of the year, which means winter's getting close. Yeah. Except Richard can't bring us any weather that even resembles winter.
Right. All right, Garrett. Thank you. Stick around. We're coming right back. And before we're going to get some final sports here.
High school football playoffs begin actually tomorrow night.
Right.
We've got some games that have been moved up because of chance for rain. And on Friday night, Football Friday, our game of the week is going to be Northridge traveling down to Russell County. We'll have a preview tomorrow night at 5.
All right, and final weather.
Yeah, quite warm next several days. No shocker there. Temperatures in the low 80s, upper 70s for the next 5 or 6 days, and likely after that too. Overnight lows very warm for the next several nights. We'll be in the upper 60s tonight over the next through the weekend. Really, this is well above average for this time of the year. In fact, we're only 3 degrees away from a record high for this date today. So quite toasty for this time of the year, November. I mean, we got upper 70s, near 80 every day. And then we got a Veterans Day coming up on Monday. Really warm weather for that, a high close to 80 degrees, partly sunny. I do expect some rain between now and then, but the rain will be generally scattered, so not going to be an all-day type of washout.
We haven't been told we're off Monday, right?
I think we're here.
I think we're here. Well, that's it for us. We're back again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Until then, have a great night.
See you.